Hi, and welcome to the REALTECH Smart Change Solutions Transport Management Demo. Today we will be discussing how REALTECH's Transport Management performs an end-to-end process with releasing a transport, getting into our solution, and then moving through into quality and into production. Today we're really going to focus on this module here, but you can see from Smart Change it has actually 4 modules, one being change process management that sits on top of transport management and does change and releases, while this manages the transports or the technical move machine. The next one is synchronization management for dual retrofit, for doing retrofitting for dual maintenance landscapes. And then we've incorporated Virtual Forge's security tools that we can integrate with our solution as well. So I wanted to start off by just showing you the technical landscape in our lab environment that we have. The CO1 system is a development system. Our CO2 is your QA, and CO3 is production. Our transport management tool in our lab environment lives on CO1. So we don't have we don't rip out or replace anything that you do today. We basically install our product via some transports into the system, which creates our tables. And then we create our own RFCs and our own user within the systems. So we have an RFC from this system and then back, and then this system and then back. So all our tables that get written on the CO1 system. Our code is on all the systems, but we're only using it really on the CO1. This is the system that everyone would log into to approve transports, as well as all the emails get sent out, and we keep track of everything. We call this the TM server. So with that, I'll start with going on to my SAP CO1 system, which I have up already. On the CO1 system, I'm going to go ahead and create a transport. Once I create the transport, nothing happens. I'll go ahead and release the task. Once I release the task, the next step is to release the transport, and this is where our solution comes into play. So once we release the transport, this is our pop-up, let's say, transport management pop-up that shows associated projects and destinations. In this example, you'll see many, it's a lab environment, right? But in customers' environments, what we do is we create these project destinations based on either releases or they could be functional. They could be functional projects, meaning an MM, a PP, a FICO, and those different projects would have different approvals or approvers within the project destination combination. So as a developer, all you really need to know is when I release the transport, which project destination am I choosing? In this example, I'll choose the standard project, standard client 100, where we're going to go. So you'll see 2 buttons. One is the add to TM button, and one is the release outside of our tool. This is all based on security. Once we go live with the solution, the second button is gone, and then only basis or administrators can release outside of our tool if they have the right authorizations. But in this case, to release the transport, I'll just hit add to TM. They'll say, do you want to sign it? I say yes, and it gets released just like SAP standard, right? So here, just waiting for the transport to export the system. Okay, it's been exported out. What I'll do is I'll take a step back here. So I'm still on my CO1 system, the TM server, let's say. This TM server could be on any system. It doesn't have to be on your development box. We've installed it on, most of the time, solution manager systems. And then it connects to all the landscapes. Or it could be on QA or production, whichever you like. But most of the implementations we've done are solution manager because we live inside our own namespace, have our own RFCs, have our own user. We don't rip out or replace anything that you have today, as well as if you do upgrades, it doesn't affect our product as an SAP add-on. One thing I want to mention is that our solution was just certified by SAP for S/4HANA. So in the future, customers don't have to worry about our solution being, certified by SAP. It's been around for 25 years, solid product used by many clients. So we have our own transaction /n/RTC/TM, but I just created a favorite. Once I go into the main screen of the tool, right, you'll see these are the configuration buttons, or when you build the tool, you build it from left to right. And this is where you build your destinations and your projects, as well as add all the systems that have licenses. Inside the workflow, there's a waiting for approvals. Anybody who makes approvals inside the tool will use this button. If you want to see all transports from all landscapes, you would go into the monitor section. And then the history section is where all transports, after they get into quality, go into production, they are moved to history as an archiving forever. So let's go into the monitor button. Once I'm in the monitor button, you'll see on the left side, these are called transport levels. They're how we group systems. In this example, you'll see we have 5 transport levels. What we're saying here is that there's a 5-box model SAP landscape. The top is your, let's say, D2, Q2, and then the bottom is your D1, Q1 going to P. So if you wanted to release a transport from your D2, have it go to your Q2, then back up to your production support landscape, this is what we're representing over here on the left side. But the transport I released goes right into signature of the quality section. It hasn't been imported into quality yet. It's waiting to be approved, which drops it down to current, and we will import it into the system. So there's my transport. If I double click on the request, I get more information about it. Down below, you could go into an action log, see all the information, what happened so far, who did what, date and time. If you want to see the object list, you can go to this section. In this case, we don't have any objects on the transport, but the next one is, let's say, approvals. You want to see who the transport is waiting for an approval from. Here's where we would set up our user groups. So let's say this was, a basis transport. We would set it up so only basis could approve the technical approval going to quality. We also have some customers that totally bypass the quality step, and they release the transport, and it goes into the current status, waiting for a job automated to be pushed into the system. So in this example, I do have an approval step in the quality, but it doesn't have to have that approval step. Attributes, we'll talk a little bit further down, but we can set up some attributes. Maybe you want to set a change ID and track it in here, or you have a project number, or you have some pre-work, maybe a document that needs to be attached or a link to an outside application. We can do that. Or maybe you just want to say what the sub area was for this transport. But freely nameable, easy way to track additional information for your transports. We've replaced several Lotus Notes applications that have, different fields, or spreadsheets that have fields that you want to get rid of those manual processes. You could build them right inside the tool and track it. So now, let's say it's ready to go to quality. I'm going to go ahead and either right-click, make an approval, technical approval, or there's a button up top here that does the same thing. So once I approve the transport, it moves down to the current status, and it's waiting to be imported into quality. So a lot of customers set up a 15-minute job for this. In this example, I'm going to go ahead and push it in just like a regular transport or a basis person would do if there wasn't a scheduled job. Okay, so I generate the queue. Oh, sorry, picked the wrong one. Let's see here. I generate the queue. Okay, there's my transport. In this example, it's going to 2 clients. that I set up, 0, 0, 0, and 100. You can set up, just one client, 5 clients, whatever you like. It's very flexible, the application, so very easy to use. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit the truck, which is importing the transport into the system. Again, this is a manual step that I'm doing, but you can set up a job to do this, and on the target system through our tool that will import the transports on your schedule. Okay, so I'll go ahead. Transport's been imported into the system. One thing I failed to mention was that when that transport came into the signature step of our tool, it sent an email to the appropriate people, letting them know that they have to approve the transport. After the person came in and approved, it went down to current. It just got imported into the system. And now we sent another email letting the person know that the transport has been imported with the return code 000, and they're good to go. So it's in quality. It's waiting to be tested. What happens next is we have an automated job that'll move it down to queue or signature of the next level. Basically saying that it's in quality. If it moves to queue, we do that a lot with our customers. Basically, it's saying it's not quite ready for the production signatures. It's sitting in queue, and it's being tested, right? It's being checked in the quality system. So another manual step I'll do is just push it down, but there's a job that does this. So now it's in the queue status. Right? Sitting in queue, and this is where I could go in and fill out some attributes. Maybe this is where I need a change ID right before it goes to production. So I can go up to the luggage tag here. I can pull up the attributes and say, I want to put a number in here for my change ID to link it to my other system. Oops. Sorry about that. Maybe this needs to be filled out. Okay. Maybe this is a FICO. Okay. Once I save that, now you'll see that all my attributes are linked to this change. So it's sitting in the queue status. It's being tested in quality. It's done being tested. Maybe I even have a testing complete down here. I say yes to. And now I'm going to move it to the final approval steps for signature. In this case, I do need a content and a technical signature versus up top, I just needed a technical signature. You see the system made the content. But down here, I'm going to need both. In my example, this is a demo. I can do both steps, right? So I'm going to move it down, which triggers an email to the content approver that they need to come in and approve this transport. Oh, sorry. Wrong step there. Move it down. From queue to signature, which triggers the email. Okay, the system's a little slow today. It's in signature now, and I'm able to make the content approval. Okay, it's doing now, boom. And now it's waiting, it triggered an email to this technical approval, letting them know that it's their turn, or the final approval, which could be the cab. Usually what we see is the cab or a manager makes that final approval. Okay, drops down to current and is waiting to be imported into the system. So there could be a once a week job. There could be other scenarios where We've seen customers say, all right, the first couple months basis is going to push these in to the system, and then we'll set up the automated job. Let's see here, okay, production. Okay, it's sitting in the queue waiting to be imported, right? There it is. I generate the queue, it pops in. The automated job generates the queue and then pushes it into the system. Basically, when the queue is being generated, it's adding it to the buffer, and then the automated job does the import into the system. Okay. Some of the other features I'd like to show you after this gets imported into the system. I will let that run. Okay. Let's go and talk about some collisions or overtaker scenarios that we have set up in our solution. So if you have a version, let's say a version 1 of an object, and then a version 2 of the same object, you can see here that in our tool, we're showing that there's a collision or overtaker detection. What I'm going to do is try to approve the version 2 ahead of the version 1. And I get a message here, which tells me, listen, if you approve this ahead of this, then it's the same object and you're going to overwrite something in your system, right? You can see that I can't bypass it, right? Because I don't have the right credentials. But basically in this example, what people would do is close the box, let's approve version 1. That goes in the system first. It's telling me it's a warning. We're good. I can approve it. It's not an error. Now I can go approve version 2. And I just saved myself a bunch of work because I don't have to redo my work when it goes into the quality system. So that's the, let's say, the collisions feature, overtaker detection feature. The next feature I'd like to show you is packages. And we have, you can see we're in the request view, but there's also a package view, right? And a package is a bundle of transports. So let's say you have a mini project with a bunch of transports you want to move collectively as a unit. You're able to go into our tool, add all the transports into a package. They have to be the same project destination combination, but then you can move them as a unit into the tool. And you even sort the order if you like. So there's a way to bundle transports within our solution to move them as a unit called a package, which is a feature. The next one I'd like to show you, and I think this is one that no other competitors have in our market, is called, oops, let me get out of the package view. It's called return code forecasting. With return code forecasting, you're able to proactively look at objects in the transports that have dependencies upon each other and see before they go into the system if they would have a successful return code. So here I have 3 transports, 1587, 1589, and 1591. With 1587, I'm going to run the return code forecasting, which is a button. Once I do that, I'm able to look at the objects within the transport and see that I have some problems. So here's the source SID development, here's the target SID when it's going to go into the system, right? In this example, I'm checking the production system. So I want to look at this dependency error and say, okay, if I go into if this object goes into the CO3 system, it has a dependency error. What's it missing? Why is it giving me a red error? Oh, it's missing this object, right? Well, where's that object at? Let me double click on the missing in transport. Here, it actually gives me all the other transport that this object is in, one being my next one, 1589, right? Really cool stuff. So let's close this, and let's go back and just highlight these two, 1587, 1589, and run the return code forecasting. Oh, okay, I'm getting closer, but I still got some errors. Let me look at this object, this report source. Okay, it's compatible, but it's red, it's got issues. It's telling me it'll be modified. Okay, well, let's go look at this. Why is it saying it's red? Oh, because of it's compatible, but I'm still missing something, right? But it's red. So, it's this 1589 or 1591 transport has all my objects, which is the following one. So all we're saying is if you approve these three and they go in the system, in the correct order, everything should be green. So let's check that out. I'll run it again with these three. Oh, no errors. Perfect. So this is a feature we really feel that will help customers proactively check transports for dependencies amongst each other before they go into the system, to be able to tell that everything would go in with a successful return code. The last thing I'd like to show you is the tracking capability and then the reporting, I'm sorry. But if I want to look at, let's say, this transport, and then I see the objects that are in the transport, but maybe I want to see the import information, how many times this has been imported into the system. Ooh, I can see it went into these systems on these dates, right? Little old, right? But if I go back, what if I want to see the object information? Oops. My bad. Let's highlight them both. Go to the object. Now I can see that these objects are in all these transports. So we get really granular with not only showing you the transport, but going to the object and the application layer and the area and giving you all the information at your fingertips within our solution. What I want to show you lastly is the reporting capabilities. So there's a couple different ways to run reports within our solution. The easiest way is just a one-button report. So let's just take a change or a transport, go to what we call request lifecycle, and now you'll see you get all the information about this request, right? The object list, the action log, exactly what happened, the import history, any attributes, SAP attributes, or the TM attributes, if you created them and you fill them out within the solution. That's one way. The other way is to go back to our main screen, go into TM tools, and you're able to run sort of a request lifecycle. So you can go in here and say, I want to see all the return code, 8s for the last month, let's say. I'm just, from January 1st till today. I'm not sure if we have any, but we're going to try. Execute. No, we don't have any results. But you can go in here and really set up your query, let's say, for the information you want to see within our tool, because we're tracking everything. And that's based off of something we call the IQ library. Another key feature for Basis is that during refreshes, we have this import tracking between two systems. I'm able to go in and look at my CO2 system and my CO3 system for the last, let's say, year, right? Maybe I did my last refresh a year ago, and I would see all the transports that have been moved through the system since then. Well, I'm able to just go get the delta or the differences after the refresh has been applied to the system, and I'm able to highlight and reapply those changes again. So my example is you have 10 in quality, 5 in production. you do a refresh from production to quality, you overwrote 10 changes with 5 changes. Now you need to reapply those 5 that you had in there before. You're able to do that with this import tracking between 2 systems. It saves a lot of time for basis folks, so they don't have to go hunt and find out, what happened. You're able to say, all right, let me see all the changes in CO3 versus all the changes in CO2. And you have the numbers up here. So this is a really great feature for basis. Makes your life easier. But with that, I want to thank you for allowing me to show you our solution today, and look forward to talking to you soon. So thank you. Have a great day.